All right, so we're talking about Charlie Kirk here. Unfortunately, the guy died, or so the story goes, and we really don't know. I mean, we really don't know what people are talking about false flags. People are talking about all this stuff, but we have no way of actually knowing this. There's no way to know that if this is true, this really happened or not, right? Any kind of AI, there's no proof beyond any kind of reasonable doubt that this actually happened, whether this was any kind of real person, right? We can assume that the technology is so advanced, the AI technology is so advanced that this could be just some AI generated guy. No, conservative person. Like look at my. I'm speaking the truth because and some of these things that he's saying, like so, abortions being wrong and all this stuff, the IVF, literally kills so many embryos, right? That they will destroy the embryos of human beings. um, he doesn't talk about the abortifacient nature of the birth control, but he does mention on theology, the birth, the life and the death and the resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ. So he does talk about that, which is actually true. This is against the LGBT, not person himself or herself, right? This is against the lifestyle and all this stuff. So these are conservative, topics and all this stuff, but. He's got so many millions of views, right? So it's a certain brand of conservatism, Trumpism, if you want, that is very close, but not 100% the truth, right? So is this actually true that he died? Well, I don't know. But what is he failing to, what did he fail to mention is that the abortifacient birth control nature of the birth control. So he did warn young women about the birth control pills, and he said that it will promote a lifestyle that is very healthy, and but also he did mention that there are so many side effects, which one could be infertility, and it would lead to them being basically forced after many years on the birth control pill to have IVF, which IVF is morally questionable because it basically kills so many babies, right? The embryo, the developing human. And but he never actually says the birth control pills prevent pregnancy or they don't prevent what I'm saying is he never said anything about what I'm saying on my channel is that the YouTube channel that I have here is it's all about the fact that the abortifacient birth control pills, the abortifacient mechanism of action of the birth control pills, and how Dr. Michel Dawes basically lying to these why is he not saying that, right? Why did he not say that? If you want to follow the story, basically what happened is that he was in a thing and he got shot in the neck and there's blood everywhere. The footage itself, does it look real or AI generated? I don't know. It's not for me to say, but, for me, did I see evidence beyond any kind of reasonable doubt that this person, number one, is not some sort of actor or crisis actor or something. I don't know. I mean, I cannot say for certain. I mean, just because he's speaking some truth doesn't necessarily. I mean, these are controlled opposition. There's some um, so many people they will put a hero for the people to basically worship, right? So now this guy's getting a whole bunch of worship and all this stuff. Well, let's say for example he really was a real guy, he really got shot, right? That's a terrible tragedy. I'm not saying that. I mean, it's a terrible thing. And he did confess some really interesting things and all this stuff, being conservative Christian man and all this stuff, father of family, died at 31. Well, maybe it's true. I am not saying it's not. How can you know, right? How can you know? Well, the media is telling you something. You feel emotional in your heart, so therefore it must be true, right? Just because you feel emotional. I mean, that's nonsense, right? Even though my good partner there, he confessed to me that he actually cried and all this stuff. When I see something like this, I say, hey, listen, could this be true? Why it could be true? Okay, is it likely that it is true? Well, a this guy is so very getting famous. Look at all these people. They're just waiting to talk to him and all this stuff, right? Why is he on this? Why does he have this platform? Like, who put him up there, right? It's interesting, right? 4.2 million subscribers on the YouTube channel, right? 4.2 million. So, I don't know if you realize, but conservative speech is not very popular. But maybe it's making a comeback. I'm not saying it's not, right? You just have to what is the evidence? What is the actual evidence, right? The evidence is that we saw the video. Okay, he's getting shot in the neck, and he's getting blood everywhere. And then you got the Air Force Two plane, right? The vice president airplane, moving his casket with his body in it, and he died. I don't know why. So, if that actually happened, it's terrible. But when did they ever tell the truth? When did they ever tell us the truth? Well, he never told us the truth about the fact that the abortifacient birth control things, right? He never said that. I never heard him say that. Maybe he did, but he said, the birth control pills have some terrible side effects. I did mention that, but that is like the number one thing that you're going to say, right? It causes early abortion. Why is he saying about IVF causing early abortion, but he's not saying about the abortifacient nature of the mechanism of action of the birth control pills? There's something about this. It's not quite right, and I just can't put my finger on it. I don't really have the time to get into it and research it and all this stuff. But overall, on the surface, yeah, seems like a nice guy and all this stuff. He's talking about some really interesting topics. People debate him, and you got some woke liberal, college guys or girls, and they get completely destroyed every time, which is good. I like seeing woke liberals getting destroyed. That is, it's entertaining. To me, it's like your arguments are completely folly, and this guy just demolishes them, and then they go with their tail behind their legs, and they don't change their minds, right? They continue in their delusion. But he never actually said anything about, you know. The birth control, the abortifacient nature of the birth control pill. He never said that. I never heard him say that. Maybe he did. But anyway, certainly is getting people all riled up. You know what I mean? Anyway, so what are they talking about there? They're just talking a little bit about the Washington State woke mob. Yeah, the woke mob. Man, that is 100% true, right? These woke mob people, right? They're very, very, very angry all the time. They're very, very angry. They're extremely their ideas are just not really based in any kind of reality or anything, and it doesn't matter. The truth doesn't matter. They just want somebody to affirm their delusion. But what's happening here is that people like Billboard Chris, let's say for example Billboard Chris, right? Billboard Chris, he's talking about puberty blockers and everything like that. I don't know if you see Billboard Chris, right? He's another one of these guys, very very active in the streets of, I don't know where does he get the money to go there? He says he's sacrificing time from his family and all that stuff. Maybe it's a noble guy, maybe it's a noble cause, maybe, but I've never actually seen anybody talk about what I'm talking about ever, and getting this kind of attention ever. It's a very strange thing, right? Why can they just not talk about what I'm talking about? And why does my channel have so few views? Well, that's a question for another day, I guess. Right, so basically, if you look down on my channel, who are you? You don't even watch this channel. You're not even a real person because I get zero views in every kind of every. I'm not making this channel for views. This channel is not about views. This channel is about one of these days somebody's going to stumble and say, "Look, in 2025, John Michael here, this guy named John Michael." Actually understood the truth, and somebody spoke the truth somewhere, right? Somewhere. Should I be doing more? Well, maybe I should be on one of these platforms and getting the people all riled up. I don't know, maybe, but people are getting all emotional and all that stuff. But let's say, for example, he really died. That would be a terrible tragedy. 31 years old, guy died. I'm not saying I'm not celebrating, but there's people celebrating his death. I'm not one of the people celebrating his death. Oh no, I would never do that. I don't celebrate deaths like these liberals that are celebrating abortions and yelling and screaming that they want to fight for abortions and fight for the right of a woman to have an abortion and all this stuff. That's horrendous. It's incredible. Um, but anyway, the woke liberal mob. What are we gonna do, right? Well, you got to dodge them as much as you can, right? It's a cancer of the not of the mind, but of the soul, I suppose you could say. It's some sort of disease. That's it's a type of demonic influence, I guess, if you will. But certainly a strange story. So what can we make of this, right? Well, is it true? Is it not true? That is not the question of the day because we don't have enough information to really know if it's true or not. If it's true, it's a terrible thing. If it's not true, well, what's actually going on? right? What have they got to gain from making this type of fake news? Well, we don't know. Let's talk about it next time.